Yo, what's going on? I hope you're all having a great day today, because today we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Sony, which is the nickname that I like to give Sony. But we're taking a look at Sony because they're basically trying Concord again, despite how bad it turned out the last time. What was that saying about insanity again?
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
I have never seen such an out-of-touch company other than Sony, man. They genuinely need such a big change of leadership, because whoever is running Sony right now, I wouldn't even trust to run a goddamn bathtub. But I came across this article today by none other than The Gamer, my favorite outlet on all of planet Earth, no sarcasm at all. I cannot believe Sony just announced a new live service game after Concord. And you can see on the side there, this is Concord with a 1.0 out of 10. What a fantastic fucking score. This job where I write about the video game industry can feel repetitive sometimes. It doesn't take a lot of time or even intellectual acuity to see how trends and patterns emerge, ebb and flow. I've started feeling like I'm saying the same thing over and over, but it's not really my fault. It's because this industry and the major players in it make the same mistakes over and over. I mean, funnily enough, that could also be applied to a lot of the journalism outlets. But I mean, this person's not wrong. A lot of companies in the gaming industry will make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, and then they'll wonder why their sales are down. They wonder why they're getting laid off. And no matter how many times the players say, we don't want this, literal sludge, they'll make it again anyway. These are glaring mistakes, as commenters on the industry have said, repeatedly and emphatically, and still the cycle repeats, and I complain, and it feels like I'm voicing the same criticisms over and over because I am. I mean, yeah, that sucks, but at the same time, it does make your job pretty easy because you pretty much know what you gotta say every single time it happens. Oh, what's that? Another battle royale priced at $40 that no one wants to buy because there's free alternatives? Time to pump out a slop article like the one I made 4 months ago, basically word for word, and rake in that ad revenue. Oh, what's that? Another game came out with ugly ass characters? Time to make another article basically the exact same way I made the one 6 months ago, and rake in that easy ad revenue. What's that? Another remaster of a 3-year-old game that looks no different, so no one's gonna wanna buy it? Time to pump out another easy ass article like the one I made 7 months ago and rake in that easy ad revenue. Thanks Sony for being so easy to shit on. Sony's live service games have been flopping, and grass is also green. Case in point, Sony has just announced a new untitled live service game developed by an all-new internal studio. The company's live service slate has been a hot topic for the last couple of years. While Helldivers 2 has been a hit, we've seen countless more cancellations, many of which led to studios shuttering. Concord infamously was shut down weeks after launch, and its studio shuttered. Soon after, Foam Stars was sunset after less than a year. Naughty Dog's Factions game was cancelled because it would have diverted too many resources from the studio's single-player games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Concord the biggest gaming failure in history, not only from Sony? Like, if this were back in the ET times, that shit would be in a landfill. A Spider-Man live service game was also cancelled, as was a Twisted Metal project. Most recently, Sony announced in the wake of Concord's failure that 2 unannounced live service games, one of which was a God of War title, have also been cancelled. Several projects are still in development, including Bungie's extraction shooter Marathon, Fair Games, and a Horizon MMO. Yeah, that's gonna do great. But the general sentiment seems to be that these games are fighting an uphill battle towards success. You'd think the continued failure of Sony's live service games and new titles in the genre more widely would have taught it that these massive investments rarely pay off and are largely unpopular with players who have already found the game they love and they're sticking with it. But the thing is with live service games is you could make 14 that are steaming piles of shit, but your 15th one is a massive success, and that 15th one makes up for all 14 other steaming piles of shit. So they'll just keep making them and keep making them no matter how many games fail and how much money gets thrown down the drain, because they might make that one big game that pops off. and makes all the money back. It's like a gambler's mindset. They're going to the casino with all of their money. They might just get that one spin that makes all the money they've lost the past weekend back. These cancellations should indicate a pivot away from a style of game that's fast falling out of favor with audiences, or at least that the company would be slowing down and evaluating the success of its current strategy after the games still in development have been launched. But you'd be wrong to think this entirely reasonable strategy was the one Sony's adopted. Well, yeah, because it's fucking Sony. But now we have another in the works. Sony boss Herman Hulst announced on the PlayStation blog that Team LFG, LFG meaning looking for group, not the other thing you probably immediately thought of, a new internal studio is working on a live service game. The team is composed not just of industry veterans who have shipped titles like Destiny, Halo, League of Legends, Fortnite, Roblox, and Rec Room, but also industry newcomers with fresh creative perspectives and skills. The team promises to make immersive multiplayer worlds propelled by action games that players can learn, play, and master for countless hours, and to have players be a part of our development process through the early access playtests. Its first project is a team-based action game that draws inspiration from fighting games, platformers, MOBAs, life sims, and frog-type games in a lighthearted comedic world in a mythic science fantasy universe. The lighthearted comedic world definitely reminds me of Concord, and not in a good way. I don't know what a frog-type game is, nor how all these influences will fit together. I would like to see something of it before passing judgment, as would any reasonable person. I'm not interested in dunking on this game that we know next to nothing about. I don't want this game to fail, nor do I want to predict that it will and gloat about being right if it comes to pass. The point here is that Sony doesn't seem to be learning its lesson, and its push to create live service games in a landscape that's so hostile to their survival is, at this point, irresponsible. I'm tired of seeing studios get shut down because of live service failures. I'm tired of seeing games get cancelled after millions of dollars have already been pumped into their development because Sony finally came to terms with what its audience has been telling them. This new project isn't doomed to be dead on arrival, but it is an egregious failure on Sony's part to read the writing on the walls. I'm sick of writing the same articles, but Sony just keeps on making the same mistakes. But they mention a game called Fair Games in this article, so let's go over that one. Let's take a look at the game here. Welcome to Fair Games, your chance to rob the rich and rebalance the scales. No binary, hard to believe all these years later Sony is funding projects like this that have zero chance to ever earn an economic profit, and will cost them hundreds of millions in total direct and opportunity costs. Lame. Concord 2. Looks like a Democrat Party recruit video. Yay, another PvE/PvP always online shooter, just what we needed in a starved market for those. No thanks. Concord 2.0 incoming, you guys never learn, laugh my ass off. Concord 2.0 will be fun to watch the sales on this one tank. Sony should have acquired Ember Lab instead. Well, this will be dead 6 months after release, PlayStation fans don't want games like this. Seems like Fair Game is fairly generic games as a service, Ubisoft looking fair, hope I'm wrong. I'm glad this game will fail too, who are you making this crap for? Do you fuckers not learn? When is this live service trash gonna die out? Guaranteed flop. Concord 3.0, we want good games, bro. Here are the quote retweets. Since Sony just announced a new team-based action live service game with a lighthearted comedic game, Concord 2.0, and this was announced nearly 2 years ago, I think it's safe to say they have not been listening to gamers' feedback, laugh my ass off. Wow, I can play a rebel covered in street expression robbing the rich. This is only the 10,000th game like this since Fortnite. So happy we have another one. I can't wait to be the resistance. I can't wait to pretend my clothes mean I would put that money to better use. The rest of the replies are basically people saying the same thing over and over again, basically Concord 2.0 guaranteed flop, so I don't really think there's any point in going over them. But I do think it's funny that Sony is just unable to learn a lesson. People are tired of this sludge, man. People do not want another live service hero shooter with unappealing characters. It's just people don't want it, man. Stop making it. Anyway, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't and you're the #1 Fair Games fan in the world, make sure to smash that dislike button and leave a mean comment, and I'm out.